This is one of the last things a king of the city of Ugarit ever wrote. It is a clay tablet, more than 3,000 years old, and it is a cry for help. "My father," it reads, "the enemy's ships are already here. They have set fire to my towns and done terrible things in my country. His army," he writes, "is away in the land of the Hittites. His ships are away in the west. His country," he says, "is abandoned to itself. There was no one left to send. The help never came." Ugarit, a rich, literate, cosmopolitan city, was burned to the ground and never rebuilt. And it was not alone. Across the entire eastern Mediterranean, at almost the same moment in history, the greatest civilizations on Earth were dying. And for 3,000 years, we have blamed the wrong thing. To feel the size of it, you have to see the world that was there before. Around 1200 BC, the eastern Mediterranean was not a scatter of isolated kingdoms. It was a connected world, the first of its kind, Egypt of the pharaohs, the Hittite Empire in Anatolia, Mycenaean Greece, the world of Homer's heroes, Assyria, Babylon, Cyprus, and the merchant cities of the coast, like Ugarit. Their kings wrote to each other as brothers. They traded on a scale that would not be seen again for 1,000 years. Copper from Cyprus, tin carried thousands of miles, gold, ivory, grain, moving across the sea in ships. Bronze itself depended on it. The metal that named the age needed tin from far away, and no city could make it alone. It was a brilliant, interdependent system, and that was the weakness. And then, over about 2 generations, it came apart. Not in a single day, that is the myth, but with terrifying speed for the ancient world. One after another, the great cities burned. The Hittite Empire, one of the superpowers of its day, simply ceased to exist. Its capital was emptied and left to the fire. The palaces of Mycenaean Greece were destroyed, and the Greeks forgot how to write. Their script vanished for 400 years. Trade routes went silent. Whole regions emptied, settlements abandoned, and by some estimates, some areas lost most of their population. When it was over, the bright, connected world was gone, replaced by centuries of poverty and darkness. We still call a dark age. The question that has haunted archaeology ever since is simple. What could possibly do that to everyone, all at once? The people who survived left us an answer. In Egypt, the great Mediterranean power that bent but did not break, the pharaoh Ramesses III carved his version onto the walls of his temple at Medinet Habu, and you can still read it today. It shows a great battle on the water against an enemy that came, he said, out of the sea. No land could stand before their arms, the inscription says. He names them, people by people. Modern historians gathered these raiders under one label, the Sea Peoples. And for generations, that was the story of the Bronze Age collapse. A mysterious coalition of sea raiders swept in from nowhere and burned the civilized world down. But the closer you look at the Sea Peoples, the less they explain. Start with the obvious question, who were they? They have no homeland on any map, no empire, no origin anyone can point to. Raiders appear in the records, and then the records simply call them the enemy, and raiders do not fit the ruins. The Hittite capital was not stormed in battle, it was emptied first, its people and treasures gone before the fire, as if they had already given up. Cities far inland, nowhere near the sea, died anyway. And no roving band of ships, however fierce, topples every empire from Greece to Anatolia to the edge of Egypt inside 50 years. The Sea Peoples were real, but as the cause of it all, they are far too small. Something bigger had to be killing this world, something the Sea Raiders were only a part of. And here the ground itself starts to talk. Scientists drilled cores from lake beds and coastlines across the region and read the pollen trapped in the layers, and the story it tells is brutal. Right at the end of the Bronze Age, the climate turned. A long, punishing drought settled over the eastern Mediterranean, decades of failed rains. And you do not need raiders to destroy a civilization that cannot feed itself. We even have the letters. A Hittite king writes to the king of Ugarit, his own coastal city, demanding grain, hundreds of tons of it, and calling it a matter of life and death. Harvests failed, and famine spread through the very trade network that had made everyone rich, because when the ships stop bringing food and tin, an interconnected world does not bend, it shatters. Add earthquakes, striking the region in a cluster, and you have a world already collapsing from the inside before a single enemy sail appears on the horizon. Which turns the whole story inside out. If the world was already dying of drought and famine, then who were the Sea Peoples really? Increasingly, archaeologists think they were not the cause of the collapse, they were a symptom of it. Not an invading army with a homeland, but waves of desperate, displaced people, farmers and fishermen and whole families driven off their own failing land. moving by sea because the sea was the only road left, looking for anywhere that still had food. Some of them may even have been Mycenaean Greeks, refugees from the very same catastrophe. The survivors in Egypt saw ragged fleets arriving on their shores and wrote it down as an invasion. What they were really watching was the end of the world washing up on their beaches. The victims got blamed for the disaster that had made them victims. So the first global civilization did not fall to a sword. It fell because a brilliant, connected world, one that had traded away its own self-sufficiency for the wealth of the network, met a changing climate and hunger and its own fragility, all at once, and the pieces dragged each other down. It took centuries to climb back out. The people who lived through it never understood what had really happened to them. They remembered it as a war against strangers from the sea. We understand it better now, and that is the unsettling part. Because the thing that killed the Bronze Age was not an enemy, it was connection itself, stretched too thin, in a world that had grown too dependent to survive a shock. 3,000 years later, we are far more connected than they ever were.